Coming to you from the TCT studios in the heartland of America. Truth shouldn't be complicated, but these days it often is, where faith, culture, and real issues shaping our world converge. Today, we cut through the noise. Welcome to Frankly Speaking.
Yes, indeed, welcome. I'm Frank Amedia, and I can only be frank. Well, today we're going to hear from Dr. Hormoz Shariat. He's the founder and the visionary of Iran Alive Ministries, and they broadcast through satellite television to millions of people in Iran and throughout the Middle East and the East. And while the internet has been blocked by the government of Iran since January, when they had their uprising last year, satellite communications and these broadcasts are penetrating into the country. And in some ways, this has actually become even more effective as a reliable means to get outside news from the tyrannical curtain. Now, Hormoz Shariat's testimony is a testimony about the saving grace of Jesus Christ, while at the same time, he was radically transformed also by the impact of a terrible loss and anguish. He was born into a Muslim family in Iran and came to the United States after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, and then he came to Christ while working on his PhD in computer engineering as a graduate student at the University of Southern Cal in 1980. It was as a new Christian that he came to this devastating crossroads when his younger brother was executed in Iran. Hormoz writes, "My passion for Muslims stems in part because of the murder of my brother Hormoz, who was arrested in Iran at the early age of only 16 on just a minor political charge. And after 2 years in jail, he was executed by a firing squad." Now, he goes on to explain that in that moment of terrible grief, God showed him that the best way to respond to this tragedy and to turn his brother's murder at the hands of this evil satanic force into something meaningful was to dedicate his life to loving Muslims and sharing the gospel with as many of them as possible. Otherwise, to snatch souls from darkness and bring them into the light of Jesus Christ. Hormoz tells us in this story that this is his way of getting back at Satan and evil. Now, in 2001, he stepped out in faith to found Iran Alive Ministries, which does broadcast by satellite to millions of lost Muslims and persecuted believers in Iran and through regions throughout the Middle East. You will hear Dr. Shariat share with some great excitement that revival has been and is happening in Iran. Now, for almost 2 decades, a powerful revival has been percolating within Iran, and both Hormoz and our dear friend Mani Irfan, who serves as our Iranian correspondent and regularly appears on Frankly Speaking, both have shared with me that revival is accelerating throughout this large country, which is almost 4 times the size of California. Now, what once may have taken years to break through to Muslims is now in some instances occurring within just a mere few minutes of preaching the gospel and witnessing the saving power and grace of the Holy Spirit. This is a regular occurrence that Muslims are reporting visitations of the Savior, whether awake or asleep, as Jesus Christ himself reveals to them personally. And despite this ever-looming danger of laws that make conversion from Islam punishable by imprisonment, torture, death, hundreds of thousands of converts are believed to worship in small house churches throughout this nation, which is approximately 90 million people. Our sources tell us that a vast portion of the population no longer embraces the Islamic regime or its ideology, but instead views it as suppressive, oppressive, and serving only a smaller segment of extreme hardliners. Many are shredding off their loyalty to Islam and instead are desperate for change, searching for truth that they can believe and follow. So what we are witnessing in Iran is what has proven to be the pattern since Christ rose from the dead. Revival is born out of persecution. And this is a recurring theme that has emerged. Revival is often born directly out of persecution. Believers, empowered by the Holy Spirit, are less inclined to succumb, but instead find courage in their faith, resulting in a rising voice of bold witness and unstoppable spiritual awakening. We read the account of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, as recorded in Acts. He gives us an inspired sermon in chapter 7, and then he's attacked by a mob and stoned to death. But rather than intimidating the new believers, they took stride and went out to Judea and Samaria. And then we read in Acts 8:4, therefore those who were scattered went everywhere preaching the word. His death became a catalyst, and it drove these early disciples to be courageous. So we see that throughout history, this has repeated itself. And what is happening right now, this same pattern has repeated itself over and over, and now to the glory of God and to the gratitude of those who are doing this work, this is happening right now in Iran. Iran is experiencing revival, and we believe that it's going to continue and continue. Now it's time for us to hear from Dr. Hormoz Shariat, but first, this message. Stay with me. We're going to be right back.
As usual, TCT partners have stepped up in time of need. As missiles rain down, the bomb shelters you helped provide are serving as a safe place for the men, women, and children in Israel. Now we bring to your attention another crucial piece of life-saving equipment needed to save lives in the Jewish state. Magen David Adom handles all ambulance and rescue services in the state of Israel and is funded almost exclusively by donors. They are in need of metacycles that are used as ambulances on 2 wheels that can get life-saving treatment to individuals much faster than traditional rescue vehicles. TCT has committed to providing one of those metacycles, and we invite you to partner with us. Join Christians across the world who stand with TCT as we stand with Israel. Please send your very best love gift to help us provide this desperately needed metacycle to save lives in Israel. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Well, Dr. Hormoz Shariat, thank you so much for making time for us today. And we've known each other a little while now, but how are you doing, my friend?
Wonderful. Great things are happening around the world. It looks bad, but God is at work.
Yes, he is. And so there's so much I want to talk with you about. And of course, as you know, Iran is in the news all day long, every day, all over the world. And who would believe that, this ancient Persia would have such an impact on the world at this point? And historically, the Persians have been just a wonderful culture in some regards. And the people are so creative and bright. I know, because I know you. I know our beloved friend Mani Irfan, who's part of what we do a lot of, and a lot of other Persians. But right now, it's just such an issue to try and even explain. How do we explain it to the world right now about Persia that was and Persia that is, Doctor?
Well, Persia is a very old country, 4,000 or 5,000 years of history. And at times, Persia ruled the world. And especially, you read a lot about Persia and its history in the Bible. You read 5 kings of Persia are mentioned in the Bible. 5 books of the Bible are written in Iran or Persia, which is today land of Iran. So like Cyrus the king set the captives free, and not only set the Jewish captives free, gave them money to go and build their temple. So there is so much history between Israel and Persia goes back. But it was invaded by Islam, and the culture was oppressed by Islam for many years. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yes.
Persians are being freed from the spirit of Islam right now. And that's why there is a revival. There is a spiritual revival in Iran.
So today, as we talk about a spiritual revival, I still can't help but think back to that day. I mean, everything is a moment in time, right? We look at it historically about when the Lord somehow miraculously spoke to Abram, who became Abraham. And what I'm told and what I read and what I think most Christians believe is that he was somehow, his family was making idols. They were moon worshipers or something. And do you have any more enlightenment on that? Because really that's the beginning of this whole outpouring of our Bible, was a conversation from God to Abram.
Yeah, there are spiritual warfare for the hearts of Iranian and the whole Middle East. There were many gods and idols mentioned in the Bible, and then the spirit of Islam took over the Middle East, which is spirit of death, the spirit of violence, and so we are in a spiritual battle. And then for Iran, Prince of Persia is mentioned in Daniel 10. So it all starts with the spiritual warfare. And as we win in the heavenlies, we see the results in Iran. And I want to assure you, there is a defeat of the enemy over Iran. And it's ongoing, but spiritually, it's already happened. Islam has experienced its greatest defeat in its history in Iran. Iranians most of them are no longer Muslims. They have rejected Islam. So this is a time in history, and we need to be aware. We Christians, we need to know what God is doing so we can join him. We can align ourselves with him, and we be history makers. I was born in Iran as a Muslim. I was raised as a Muslim. I came to the United States as a student in Southern California, University of Southern California. And I came to Christ by comparing the Bible and Quran. And first I thought all religions are the same. Why do they fight? But when I compared the Bible and Quran, I realized, no, they cannot be the same. Allah is not Jehovah. And it's so different. So after a few months of struggle, I went to a church in downtown Los Angeles, heard the gospel, transformed my life. But one event changed my direction or commitment of my life to Jesus. When I was 2-3 years old in the Lord, the government of Iran, the Islamic government of Iran, arrested my younger brother, who was just 16 years old. And then they executed him. And it has happened so much the last few years. Just in January, 40,000 of mostly young people were executed on the streets, and every day there are executions in Iran. So the killing of my brother, it really moved me as a new Christian. And I was mourning. I was asking God, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do when I see injustice? And for a few days I was praying. I really clearly heard the Lord that those who killed your brother, they are not your enemies. They're victims in the hands of one enemy, which is Satan. And if you want to take revenge or do something for the injustice in this world, evangelize, share the gospel. That's where I got my mission from the Lord, and I committed myself. I said, God, I'm going to share the gospel to the rest of my life. But if I do that, you're a big God. Can you use my life to bring 1 million Muslims to Christ? And through the 25 years of satellite broadcasting, we may already have passed that number.
Wow. Isn't it something how something in our life, a moment in our life, can be that catalyst that all of a sudden our moments converge and we crash with our destiny and we begin to walk. And I'm sure that the day that you made that commitment and said, okay, I'm going to go into ministry, I'm sure you had no idea of where it was going to really take you. Is that correct? Because there's a lot of people that are listening, and I know in my own life that, we started out one way and the Lord took us to a complete path that we look back and we see how the dots connected. Are there other dots that connected in your walk since you said, I'm going forward, Lord? Are some major ones that you could share with us?
Well, ministry has a lot of warfare. Has been many times I thought I was done. Ministry was done. But God intervened, and we're here and continue. It has happened multiple times. Not many people know. We have been broadcasting into Iran through satellite and now social media for the last 25 years. And satellite television, you go over the heads of the mullahs into people's homes, and the government of Iran cannot stop it. So for 25 years, we go into living rooms, share with Iranians about the love of Christ, and many, many have come to Christ. So when I started, you mentioned that was after the revolution, and Iranians were not open. They were not open. I remember sharing the gospel with Iranians who were interested. These are people who were interested in Christianity. Not many were interested. And it took me 6 months to sometimes 6 years to bring one person to Christ. Wow. In the 80s. I was a young student share the gospel. But over the years, now easy, Frank, the simplest message of the gospel brings Iranians to Christ.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm preaching on our channel, and of course my preaching is evangelistic, but sometimes I talk to Christians and I say, I'm going to take a break of my teaching sermon. I'm going to share the gospel. So I take a 2-minute break from my sermon points and I just share a 2-minute version of the gospel. Guess what? That's enough for many people to come to Christ. Iranians are so open. And Iran has the fastest growing evangelical population in the world. So that's what happened. But you're talking about an event. I just popped in one event that really confirmed God's will. I was a new believer passing out tracts in Los Angeles. As I said, people were not interested. They wouldn't even take the Christian tract. Some of them will take it and give it back. And then one person stood. He stood there. He took a tract and read it. It was a long tract. He read it. Then he looked at my eyes and he said, "You have betrayed not only Allah, you've betrayed your country." And as he was staring into my eyes, he tore up the tract and put it under his feet and stepped on it. You know, Frank, my heart sank. Okay, I'm serving the Lord, and people are not receiving the tract, and the one who received it did this. So suddenly my heart became so discouraged. But there is a but there. I heard the Lord clearly in my heart that moment. He said, "Don't give up. Continue. Many of these people that you're rejecting your tract, they will become Christian the next few years. And Iran and Islam will be dishonored in Iran, and millions will come to Christ. Don't look at today. I have a long plan for the salvation of Iran." So that's another place. I said, "God, I believe you. I'm not going to look at people rejecting the message. I look at your promise. You will save Iran." But by the way, Jeremiah 49, verses 38 and 39. God promises, "I will set my throne in that land." He says Elam, which is completely inside the land of Iran today. So we know the end result. We know Iran will be saved. We know Iran will be a Christian nation. We know Iran will be a ascending nation. We know the end result. So all these wars, every suffering, they're all temporary, and we can survive through it.
Yes, and we all know that, you know, when the pressure cooker starts, the spiritual pressure cooker, that's God doing his thing, and he's using us, and we're the cooks and the chefs and the sous chefs and the people that are feeding it into the pot. But he's stirring the pot and the steam is coming out, and all we can know is that there's a lot of pressure going on internally within that country. And you know, Doctor, I was just meditating on this morning about, you know, Lord, forgive us as people that are upset about our gas price, people that are upset about the cost of a tomato. We understand, and we know you care about that too, and we all care about that, and some can afford it more than others. But you know, Doctor, I did a sermon once, and I'm going to bring it back online here again. What is the price of a soul? The price of a soul is the blood of Jesus Christ. And so I had to repent to him on behalf of my country and everybody else, saying, "Lord, forgive us. Whatever it takes to bring that evil regime down and free these people, especially for the revival and to have a good life, then Lord, if that's the price we have to just pay a little bit of, it's nothing like what you paid." And you know, brother, you said something. The word of the Lord never returns void. I think that's one of the reasons why the internet, they're trying to shut that internet down right there now. Isn't that correct?
Well, yeah, they have shut it the last 3 months, but they cannot stop the signal from satellite. Actually, since they turned off the internet, we have more viewers, and mostly young people who used to be on their phone, on their mobile phone. Now they're watching us, and we're seeing many young people come to Christ. So every bad news can become a good news.
What satellite are you on there, Doctor? Just asking. Is it satellite 7?
Our channel is called 7, Shabake, which is channel 7. And we call it 7, but you know how satellite work. The satellite, and there are many channels on it. It's like a real estate. They cut every few meg or bandwidth and they sell it. So we bought a bandwidth, a real estate, and we broadcast our channel there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know, I've had the pleasure of knowing you as introduced from Monty now over a decade, my friend. And I know that you and your family went through some stuff because we were privileged and called to help pray through that and intercede with you. There were some tough times. And, you know, there's a price that's paid, but the price is well worth it. So we want to thank you and encourage you and stand with you here with our TCT audience and with Frankly Speaking and our ministries and our global prayer network. What a privilege. And we're gonna excite and get ourselves excited to rejoice with this harvest that's continuing to come in. Doctor, I'm going to ask you if you'd return tomorrow, because we didn't even touch on most of the things that I want to talk to you about, but this is just so awesome. Are you available to return with us tomorrow, sir?
Of course, I'm at your service.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you so kind. You don't want to say that to me, because I'll have you working with us every day. But would you please just help us and lead us in prayer as we ought to pray right now for this global harvest of God's Persians?
Yes, Lord, we trust you in every situation, when things are good, when things are bad, Lord, because we know even you make all things work together for our good when we love you and we are called according to your will. So, Lord, I pray for each individual, globally and personally and locally, Lord. Every good, every bad news, Lord, we're looking for your good news, that even in our personal struggles, you're working to transform us, to build us up, to open new opportunities. Thank you for what you're doing in Iran as a nation. Through the suffering, 47 years of killing and oppression, you have brought that nation you have set them free from Islam, and you're calling them to yourself. Thank you, Lord. I pray that you will raise up your children, raise up your church, that we will be connected with you. We will see what you're doing, and we will partner with you. We will align our will. We'll align our lives with your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, my brother. We appreciate it, and I'm looking forward till tomorrow. God bless you and keep you.
God bless.
Now, that has to inspire you, and it sure does me. Just believe in God that through all of this pressure, He's going to find His way to show the glory of Jesus Christ, just as He did for me and for you. Stay with me. We're going to be right back after this message. Hold on.
As usual, TCT partners have stepped up in time of need. As missiles rain down, the bomb shelters you helped provide are serving as a safe place for the men, women, and children in Israel. Now we bring to your attention another crucial piece of life-saving equipment needed to save lives in the Jewish state. Magen David Adom handles all ambulance and rescue services in the state of Israel and is funded almost exclusively by donors. They are in need of metacycles that are used as ambulances on 2 wheels that can get life-saving treatment to individuals much faster than traditional rescue vehicles. TCT has committed to providing one of those metacycles, and we invite you to partner with us. Join Christians across the world who stand with TCT as we stand with Israel. Please send your very best love gift to help us provide this desperately needed metacycle to save lives in Israel. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
I hope by now, after a couple months of Frankly Speaking being broadcast here on TCT, and we're coming out of our one studio in Canfield, Ohio, that is specifically for Frankly Speaking, that you're beginning to get the gist that what I hope to bring to you is a monologue that speaks to your spirit and to your heart and ties in, whether it's our speaker or our content, something special for that day. But most importantly, it's that we want to continue to not only preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, but to teach Scripture, Torah, Old Testament, New Testament, however you want to refer to it. This is the greatest book ever written. And by the way, what we're finding out now is that the sales of this book are second to none all over the earth. God is spreading His word, and His word does not return void. I often teach our people when we're trying to figure out and listen to people telling us about formulas of how to evangelize, formulas of how to build a church, formulas of how to build our own faith. It's really simple. It's the Word of God. And if you really want to inspire somebody, don't try to add on and certainly don't take away. Just release the Word of God. Simple. As Hormoz is telling us, people now are coming to the Lord in just a matter of a few minutes, where it used to take them a long time. They would have to seed into them and sow into them and discuss with them and debate with them whether their Muslim faith and the Quran could stand up to the scriptures and the Bible. And the same thing is going on in Israel right now. Even though you have people that have gone through their bar mitzvahs and some to yeshivas, they're finding out that the simple gospel of Jesus Christ unravels it all and sets them free. Can you imagine what Paul had to go through to sort of unlearn and let go of everything that he had been receiving from Gamaliel and that great, great rabbi as he was preparing himself? We don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Just accept the Word of God and practice it in your life, and you're going to find out that your faith will continue to grow and grow and grow, and nothing can be against you because God is for you. Now, you'll see on our screen our social media and a little code. Take your phone, grab it, send to us, help us out. We want to get that metacycle into Israel, and we want to do it soon, and we're getting there with your help, but we got a little ways to go. Let's get done with that so we can move on to some other stuff. Contact us. I really want to hear from you. Tell me if there's been a difference in your life. Maybe you want to tell me you can't stand what I'm doing. That's okay too. I'm Frank at Media. This is Frankly Speaking, and I can only be frank. God bless you.